Hello once again, people! So if you were paying attention last time around, you have known we have entered the deathmatch base levels of, Aftershock. And last time around, we checked out the first two levels on base end, made by Jim Lowell as like a test-based level or so for like thread. And now we're checking out a lot of Gregory A. MacMartin's first levels. It seems like a lot of the designer's first levels were all on the deathmatch before they moved over to the single player stuff we've already seen. So yeah, it's kind of weird and backwards like that, but it works. Anyway, last time around we checked out DeCarlo, which was by Gregory A. MacMartin, and now we check out another level by Gregory A. MacMartin called the Abode. This is another house-like environment. This one is a little more complex, in that you can actually go onto the roof and jump into the chimney. You can also swim underneath the entire house. It's very out of scale. It's not based on any real structure. So yeah, it's very, very different from the previous one. The previous one being based entirely on the area thread was made. This one's just a very abstract house concept that's like a ridiculously giant house. To basically allow for massive interconnectivity. You also notice that the wooden beams in the first room have no real purpose. If you're being architecturally picky, except that they are cool to walk on. The Thunderbolt is hitting quite nicely. This level is the largest of my 5 deathmatch levels for Aftershock, so it can support a large number of players quite nicely. In fact, it can support up to 24 different players. Yeah, this is a very, very large level, at least in terms of scale. Like, really, like, all the other levels doesn't offer much for, like, action or whatnot, and so therefore we're going to fly through it relatively quickly. But yeah, it is probably the largest level Gregory MacMartin made for Aftershock, and probably actually the largest level altogether. I can't think of like a deathmatch level that I've seen that's really as large as this. So yeah, let's check out probably the largest deathmatch level we've seen. Yeah, how big can it get? Obviously pretty big. Once again, I spawned in with deathmatch being 1, so yeah, I completely forgot to change that setting off. So, here we are. So, we have now 2 enemies to kill. And well, this is the room we spawned in. Complete with a nice little convenient pool here. That, oddly enough, I can't jump into. Let me jump in the pool! I want to go for a swim. They're obviously not letting me go for a swim. I think they have something against me, people. That's interesting. You know, for wooden rafters having no purpose, I'm seeing quite a few little purposes. I'm seeing like armor and different stuff up there. Now it's a matter of how exactly do you get to it. Well, in here you can see a health and a super nail gun, which connects up from some chimney. We must figure out how to get up there so we can get connected to the chimney. Up here you can see little red patches of darkness. He really likes this song and whatnot, Conscience. He really uses it like a lot in his levels. I like it too, so it works. Anyway, here's a lot of cells for totally irrelevant purposes. And a lot of different junk on the rafters that are totally useless. Let's pick it all up. Let's see here, we have a bunch of nails, which we can use to decimate everyone. Could definitely be pretty painful trying to do this while someone else was trying to shoot you, but ow, that didn't work too well. Here are where the 2 enemies are, by the way. They're on like outside portions of this house. You have like this outer house edge here, and of course you have something on the opposite side that's very, very symmetrical with the other knight. So here we are. I just killed everything in the level. Whoop-de-doo. As you can see, it's a big house. Really hard to see from here, but yeah, we're over a giant pool of water. Let's head back upstairs, as I still have yet to really check this all out. I kind of got cheated, as I fell down and hurt myself. I fell down and hurt myself, and somehow I'm calling myself cheated. Yeah, I'm a terrible sore loser, ain't I? Anyway, let's see here. We gotta get some more ammo. Okay, let's go this way and see what's over here. I'm seeing an elevator. That's definitely strange. And we have 2 staircases. The 2 in which to rule them all. Well, up we go. Up Seaway Daisy. I think this way probably will actually interconnect with the rafters. Yes, it does. And in fact, we drop right about here. We can get some armor. And here is a pool. I want to go swimming. I'm a good swimmer. Yay! Let's go swimming. Okay, this was a terrible place to swim. But it's there. There's some slime in case you wanted to go swimming or something. I don't know, maybe a maniac. Anyway, so we have that little elevator. That's really the only elevator we've seen. And we also have this ramp down here, which leads to a lower floor. Down here we have a nail gun. With for shooting of things. This is like a very massive room. Yeah, like it's just huge. There's another armor in case you didn't get the other one. And he has a pool in the water in the middle of the whole thing. The end tunnel. So we don't really want to be going that way. We're worried about the water in a little bit of time. I actually want to go up before going down. So yeah, time to go to the roof. Up here. Jump across and you get up to the roof. Alright, so now we are crawling around on the roof. What's up here? A nice shiny yellow armor. And a giant hole in the middle of it. This is basically the main area you do combat at. Oh look, and here's a chimney. You time it right, you get up here. You can see the fireplace. Yep, we're basically interconnecting everything here. Some extra shells, some extra resources. Oh look, a grenade launcher. Now we're cooking with firepower. Yeah, look at that. We're ready to take some firepower. Oh look, another thing. I want up there. How do I get up there? Let's try dropping the water and getting up to it. Swim for your life! It's a lot like E3-1 all over again! There we are. 1 health pack, 2 health packs. Into the water we go! Into the water we drown. Anyway, if you haven't already figured out, this is where, like, the big portion of the map is. It's all a giant underwater subterranean nightmare. And look at that, the map is so big, like, the entire graphics mess up there. Look at that. The entire sky is messed up and you can barely see half the world. Look at that. That's just amazing, everything's glitching out. Yeah. Hooray for graphical limitations, the Quake engine. Okay, so this area is freaking big. If you haven't already kind of figured it out. Owie. What I kind of need is a rocket launcher. Then we can actually see what I'm doing. Well, there's some pathetically weak health packs. Not really sure why we get some weak health packs around here, but whatever. Where is the rocket launcher? That's kind of the important thing right now. When asking yourself questions in life, always be sure to ask, where is the rocket launcher? If you can't answer that question, your map is terrible. Is that a gun? That better be a rocket launcher, people. That better be a rocket launcher. It is. That's good. Now the question of the day. Is there actually useful stuff along the edges? I can't really tell because it's so dark. I'm going to try and like light it up. This is probably actually totally useless as I can barely make out anything. But hooray for trying to pretend I'm actually making sense of what's going on here. Yeah, if I keep it relatively close I can at least. But yeah, there's a lot of useless swimming around here. You're watching a very boring, pointless swimming simulator? Well, we've got the level for you! Yeah, honestly, this is a level where not much has happened, but you get a lot of empty space. Like, this level is massive, but the one problem about this level is there's so much wasted space. I mean, look at this. There's, like, nothing here. I mean, all there was around one little center area. Did you really need, like, an entire waterway filling it up? Honestly, I think this is probably the architecturally useless area. And, I get the idea that more space is always usually better in deathmatches. It allows for more interconnectivity. But at some point, levels start to get too big. It becomes a pain to traverse everywhere, and it just takes so long and gets dull to traverse. And yeah, that usually is the problem, is that usually levels end up getting too big for their own good and make themselves feel like grudgingly long. And yeah, that underwater area is pretty much that. There's really like no reason it should be that big at all. Anyway, we have every gun in the game besides the Thunderbolt, which I believe is probably out here. We have like this little edge around the house that I've been seeing, so if I follow this around, yep, very obvious Thunderbolt hidden area. There we are. We've gotten every gun in the game. Surprisingly, there's no power-ups here, now that I think about it. But that's a thing. And yeah, this area is just kind of a thing. It's an underwater place filled with lengthiness. I like some of the interconnectivity and the concepts, but first of all, there's really only one way to the roof, and the problem is once you get to the roof, it's so easy to control the map. Like, all I have to do is guard this elevator, and I can control the entire upper floor and, like, rain down from the skies. It's just too easy to dominate here. And that's usually the problem with, bad user-created levels, or, like, pretty much 95% of them, is that usually they're easily dominatable in some way, which means that you end up, you know, be able to kill everyone else, and the level becomes kind of a joke. Like I said, I don't know how much that's actually true. Like I said, because at the end of the day, I can't really play any deathmatch levels with anyone else. But I'm just basing on assumptions here, and this level doesn't look like it would have much balance. Especially, like, I think, like, the last level wouldn't have too many problems, but this one would. Plus, this level is just a lot less appealing than the last one because it's just very lengthy. Like, I feel like I'm just walking lengthy distances to really go nowhere. We're just little short areas. We really didn't need the whole underwater section at all. It felt really lengthy and pointless down here. Should just like had a little small basin or so. Having the entire thing just kind of feels like a really massive waste of space. But that's beside the point. Anyway, I think that really sums it up, and we're at DMAS04. We'll worry about that, of course, next time. But this is basically that level in a nutshell. Nothing really that spectacular. Since when has these deathmatch levels ever been anything spectacular, though? They're more for the historical purposes, documenting everything, seeing all the different levels. It's more the fact that matter that it exists. It's a thing for Quake. It's nice to just see the levels that were created. Just see the geometry or whatnot. Even if, you know, the actual level itself we really can't do anything with. So yeah, we get to appreciate some extra geometry. And like I said, it's an interesting house, but it just feels honestly like a really ridiculously oversized house. To a point that almost gets frustrating to navigate around the level. I just really don't see it being like that much of a entertaining thing compared to like DeCarlo. I feel like that was a much better size and scale compared to this one. So yeah, it's definitely the opposite side of the equation that, you know, you can have a level that's too tight to too confined and becomes frustrating because you constantly bump into walls, but you have the other side of the equation whereby it gets too ridiculously big and you can't really do anything because it takes forever to get there. So this is one of the latter, though luckily in Quake, one thing you can say about it is that fast scale movement is definitely a thing, and as long as you kind of ignored certain areas, it wasn't really mandatory to kind of go down long ways. And even the long ways really didn't feel too long or dragged out. I've definitely played a lot longer paced levels than this. I'm looking at you, Coobs and Deef. But yeah, these long scale levels definitely feel very subpar in my opinion to actual full scale levels with like a nice confinement to it. Honestly, I think Quake doesn't really work too well with big environments. As you see, it kind of like freaks out in the engine. It totally starts like blacking out certain areas. And honestly, I think Quake kind of just does well when you start doing like internal areas. That's really what the entire original game was about, and generally speaking, what you should kind of be trying to do. Outdoors environments really do not work well at all in the original Quake. When you start talking about like Unreal or something like that, that's when you start saying outdoor environments are a lot more viable. But yeah, the original Quake, the entire thing was subterranean, and as far as I figure, outdoors environments just usually tend to be oversized and frustrating. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Anyway, thank you very much all for watching. It has been the adventure, and I shall see you all next time.